I'm very happy that you thought it was important this morning that you should have this gathering. Very important to talk about what has happened to our country. And I'm sure people have different pieces of information here and there. As always, at some point, exaggerations, at some point, underreporting, at some point, people who have been involved taking advantage of the situation and doing their own things. Yesterday, there was a picture shown in the Sunday Times, and later, I think, shown a movement shown in the TV. Terrible picture. I'm sure even people who live in very rough townships or areas have never seen such a scene, generally. At times you just hear that somebody was stabbed, dead, whatever. And I was sitting and I was saying to myself, what are we telling the world about ourselves? If you're in the family and there was one person in the family who behaves differently from the rest of the family, will you tell the world that this person represents our family? Perhaps a criminal. Is it how you'd portray your family? I was saying to myself, no. In fact, if there was such a person, I will call the police to arrest, no matter that person would be a family member. But I would not say this is how our family is, because that's how it looked like. We are saying all South Africans are carrying knives, are killing one another. Of course, we look at things differently. I listened to a program this morning, one person calling from Durban, saying people who voted the ANC are idiots, and ANC leaders are idiots, all of them. Again, it indicates we look at things from different points. Firstly, if I could speak as the ANC cadre, we lived under very difficult conditions in this country, which finally forced us to leave South Africa. Not all of us. Some remained, some went to prison. Some served more decades than one in prison, with one objective: to liberate our people, to liberate ourselves. We're prepared to sacrifice the utmost. Others were arrested, tried, convicted for many years, others for life, others to hang, and they did hang. We're fighting for a South Africa that we all were clear what it is all about. But again, we can't say all South Africans did exactly the same. Others were there. But there's always a number of people who determine where things go. We went to other countries. We crossed illegally. You couldn't go to a Home Affairs and apply for a passport. That I'm fighting the government, I want a passport to go. You couldn't. Very few who applied for, what was it called? Was it the exit permit? Who said, I leave the country, I'll never come back. and very few, not many, and they were given once they said that. We came to those countries, walked there without a paper, and perhaps reported ourselves to the police and said, I'm here, I'm running away from South Africa. And at times would be arrested by the police, and as they question you, you would explain them, I'm from South Africa. And as soon as you say so, they will understand. Countries bordering with South Africa attacked them many times, or attacked us and killed us and bombed us and did everything, made the citizens of those countries suffer. Many countries you can remember, whether you're in Lesotho or Swaziland or Botswana or Mozambique or Zimbabwe or Zambia, those countries can tell stories when we were in trouble as the black oppressed the majority in the country. They never turned us back. They tolerated us. If anything, they supported our struggle. They did not ask us, why are you not fighting in your own countries and defeat your enemy? Why are you running away? But many of us were not running away. We're going to prepare ourselves to come back and fight. At times they arrested us when we're trying to come back with our weapons and everything. And a few countries perhaps did take us to court, but many never. They understood the problem we're in. They sympathized with us. We did everything. We're supported. We worked with ordinary citizens of those countries. Ordinary citizens. They helped us to carry our guns and some luggage across. We sent some of them secretly from their countries to come in here, to come, risk their lives, to come and deliver things that we camouflaged in many ways. They took us as their brothers and sisters. Besides the individual countries, besides the specific individuals that we can name, were supported by the OAU fully, which means every country in the continent supported us through the OAU. The OAU had what was called the OAU Liberation Committee that focused on the armed struggle in the main to help us get training, get weapons, get the money, get everything to liberate ourselves. They called for the release of our leaders and political prisoners. They actually took the struggle as their own. Even today, many who are leaders today will tell you they were conscientized by our struggle. Of course, we got our freedom. And everybody was very happy. We've never forgotten that we fought for a South Africa that must remain friendly to its neighbors and to the world. So what has gone wrong? Why do we think people coming from Africa in particular have suddenly turned to our enemy? Who is spreading that? Now, because I'm speaking in the ANC meeting, not as government or as head of state, I'm talking as a head of an organization. I led a debate in Parliament last week to to make a call about this matter and discuss it. I must be critical because a number of us who are members of parliament spend time doing things as we do all the time. Personalizing things, criticizing people, finding an opportunity to insult people, instead about talking about the issue. That, to me, indicated the problem we have in the country. That our focus has suddenly moved away from really seeing to it that we build a South Africa that is accommodative of all of us and our friends, a South Africa that must play a role of showing how democracy is, of how peace and stability can be achieved, of how to work together with our brothers and sisters. Well, that's what we are all about. Leaving aside that we've got our own challenge, there's no country that does not have its own challenges. No country in the world. No matter how big a country can be, they've got their own challenges, as we do. Why do we have this? I believe that we have suddenly changed our attitude as South Africans. Not all of us. And this point I'll always stress, because when people, for an example, describe us, they always paint us with one brush, as if we are the same. Just like now, when fewer people in terms of our numbers, we are 50 million plus, that have been attacking the foreigners. We are all painted in the same brush, as if we are all like them. The picture that I talked about, for an example, I don't think those people were part of xenophobic, is my thinking. These were sources doing the usual thing to rob people.